Number one, get a simulator software. A simulator software like Liftoff, the one I use, will help you to practice on your computer as much as possible before you transition that learning experience to flying a physical FPV drone. I got up to like 20 hours of flight time before I got my first drone, and so all the skills and all the practice I've had on the simulator software meant I was able to transition easily and not have to worry much about crashing. Now, in real life, I've had to crash, but that background helped me to transition better and be able to get a hang of how to fly it without having much trouble of a learning curve. You can connect your controller, which in my case, I had a controller way early before I got the drone. So you were able to connect it to the Liftoff software on your computer and have the opportunity to actually use your controller to fly on the simulator software. And that will also help you get a bit of a muscle memory and be able to fly better. You can play around with different configurations in the software and fine-tune some settings to get the right feel of what you're looking for, and then transfer it onto your actual quad. So instead of doing back and forth with your quad, you connect it to your laptop or your computer, you make some changes, go fly, come back, that kind of back and forth. You can be doing it in the Liftoff simulator, and when you get the right results you're looking for, you just easily transfer it. So get a simulator software, and that should help you practice, get more time practicing in different environments and different configurations, and you should become better. Before I move on to the next point, a bit about myself. My name is KhoPhi. I started flying FPV drones, I think ending of 2020. That was in November. That's where I got my first set of drones. So I got the Holybro Copies Cinewoop drone. It's a 3-inch quad which came ready to fly in the box. I got this one from Get FPV. It's a DIY setup. So I had to put everything together, the soldering, following instructions online. And this one, which is the freestyle drone. So this is also a Cinewoop, and this is the freestyle drone. It's an EcoQuad frame. That was also a ready to fly build. So those three came in, and since then I've been practicing and trying to learn my way into becoming a better FPV pilot. So I hope to be sharing some of these experiences and lessons I've learned over this short period of time. And for anyone starting out there, probably might find some of these tips useful. So let's move on to the next point. Learn and have the basics. So with the learn, let me start with that. There's a lot of information when it comes to starting with FPV and a lot of things to know. What I came to realize is you're not going to need all of that immediately. Some are going to be of priority, and in my case, one of the things that I did not learn to do the right way initially was how to charge my batteries. We take battery charging for granted in mostly our phones and most of our electronic gadgets. How it charges and when it stops charging and stuff like that all happen automatically, and so we don't really give a thought to it. We plug in our phone and it's charging. How it's charging is basically none of our business. But these batteries used for flying FPVs have their own way of being charged and charged properly, and how to discharge it and stuff like that. Knowing how to do these basic things will help you to get longer battery lives from your batteries and get a better experience. In my case, I had to damage about 3 batteries before I learned the hard way. And the lesson I learned was to get a charger like this. So this is the IMAX B6 AC version 2 from SkyRC. And with this, it gives me the option to charge different types of batteries, and I'm able to control how the battery is being charged and the amount of current and stuff like that. Learning the charging basics is something that will come in very handy. That's an example of some of the basics you need to learn. Another thing is taking full advantage of your controller, and by that I mean mapping all the switches on your controller to different functionalities, so that you can switch and change different flying modes whilst on the go. In my case, I've mapped these switches to different commands, which you should be able to learn how to do that. And when on set or on location, you will be able to change and be able to fly easily in different conditions without having to connect your quad to a PC, to open beta flight or stuff like that. They have what they call the stick commands too, which depending on how you position your stick, it does something, sometimes calibration or changing the different modes. Make sure to learn how to do those things, and that should also come in handy when flying. So that's one basic thing that you might also want to learn how to do when you're starting off, and it should help you save time when you are flying without having to connect to the computer all the time. Now, when it comes to the basics, some of the things that I have come to appreciate having in my tool set is that it's a plier and a screwdriver set. So these two come in very handy in terms of trying to repair and fix some of the basic issues that comes with it. So tightening a loose propeller to the motor, or tightening up some of the screws holding to the frame, all of that with my tool set on me, I'm able to do that easily. So getting one of these in your tool set will go a long way to help you be able to repair some of the basic things on this, and you know, you don't have to send it off to somebody to get it fixed for you all the time. Get a soldering iron as well, which you can use to solder some of the joints and the contact points whenever it breaks, which will go a long way to help you in repairing some of the basic issues that come with an FPV drone. So in my case, I normally keep these two items in my backpack whenever I'm moving around and trying to go and shoot stuff, so that if anything should go wrong, I can quickly fix them on set. At least those that can be fixed with these tools. The next thing is to have a lot of spares. One of the easiest spare you can get is propeller blades, which is one of the things that easily gets spoiled. So get a lot of propeller blades as spare. I keep this on me when I'm on set shooting. Immediately I lose a blade or it crashes or something of that sort, and I have to like change it. I don't need to go back home or cancel the shoot. I just pop in another blade and I'm good to go. If for whatever reasons a blade is not working the way it should be, I can quickly change it as soon as possible. So having spares in your tool set can be very useful. If you are in the position to get extra motors, that will be super useful as well. So having spares can save you time and help you get up in the sky as quickly as possible. Number 3, don't be scared to crash. Unfortunately, the process of learning involves crashing, and so be prepared to crash. And in most cases, the more you crash, it means you're pushing yourself more, and it means you have the opportunity to learn more. What you can do to help you avoid the fear of crashing, which will lead to you not flying more, is to get a punching bag. And by punching bag, I mean get a drone that you are not afraid to crash. I got 3 drones. This is what I use for like shooting professional stuff, serious things, same as the Freestyle quad. But I got this one, I bought myself with the sole purpose of using it to crash. And I don't mean to crash and destroy it, but any experimentation I want to do, any practice that anywhere I want to push myself a little bit further, I think I'm going to crash, I would use this, and this will take all the beating. If you are afraid to crash, it means you will not have a lot of flight time, which means you're not going to be able to get better as time goes on. As much as possible, at least get 2 drones, FPV drones, that you can use one for practice session and also use it to learn how to fix things on it, which in my case, you can see how terrible it looks in terms of all the wires dangling around, and it's terrible when it comes to efficiency, but it was a learning process and helped me understand, and also has been taking the beatings for me for these many months. I hardly use it these days, but the extra benefit I get is I have accessories on it that I can pop into any other drone anytime I want to fly, so that's also a plus. The last but not least is building your confidence. You can only get better by flying, and I think we all know this. They say practice makes perfect, but it's easier said than done. And if you're in a situation where you don't want to break your drone, or if you break it, it's going to be hard to get a replacement, you might be thinking, well, let me limit how far I'm going to push myself, which means you are not going to be confident in your drone. To build confidence in any equipment we use means we get to understand the device as much as possible. Get used to your quad, the settings on it, how it flies, how it responds to your inputs, and that getting used to will mean that whenever you are flying, you end up being confident, you will be calm and be able to fly smoothly. So thanks for joining me in this one. If you want to see some of the videos I've shot so far in the past 5 months, you can find a link in the description below that takes you to the FPV Africa channel. My name is KhoPhi. I share FPV related videos here on this channel and the completed videos on the FPV Africa channel. So make sure to check them out and let me know in the comment section below what kind of videos you'd like to see me do about my journey when it comes to flying FPV drones. Thanks for joining me and hope to talk to you in the next one. Bye.